Today's Asian Voices comes to you from Pakistan's capital, Islamabad. We look at a comic series that has enjoyed decades of popularity. What makes it so popular?
Should girls be allowed education?
No.
Should boys be allowed education?
Yes. Gogi is a popular cartoon in Pakistan. Using humor, it raises questions about the country's male-dominated society, as seen through the eyes of the title character, a Muslim woman. Gogi's image can be seen throughout Pakistan. Even inside hospitals, she has widespread appeal. The author, Nigar Nazar, was Pakistan's first published female cartoonist. She's been drawing Gogi for over 40 years.
I believe when you can make someone laugh, when you can amuse someone, the message comes across stronger.
Nazar portrays Pakistani society from a woman's viewpoint and in a light-hearted manner. We'll hear her thoughts behind her cartoons. Nazar's office is in Islamabad.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good to see you.
Likewise.
Thank you very much for making the time for us today.
It's a pleasure.
So this is your...
Well, this is my studio and office, you could say. You're welcome with this little sign.
On this day, Nazar was drawing a cartoon about women's style of dress. A man is frowning at a woman exposing her ankles.
He seems like he has something to say. Or...
Yeah, she thinks I can do what I like. So if it's okay for you to be showing your ankles, then it's also okay for me.
Would you be like her?
I would stay away. But I would express it in a cartoon.
I see.
Okay, so at least I have a platform. I can express it in a cartoon.
Nazar began drawing cartoons more than 40 years ago. She is one of Pakistan's best-known cartoonists. She contributes comic strips and illustrations to newspapers and magazines. Her character, Gogi, is a short-haired, active woman. She has plenty of questions about her male-dominated society. Under a blazing sun, Gogi and a man set off for work on a farm. A large hoe held by the man suggests he's a hard worker. Actually, he sleeps under its shade while Gogi is the one who works.
You know, Gogi, when my grandfather was born, they passed around cigars. When my father was born, they passed around cakes. And when you were born, Nadia, they passed out.
And this one is your favorite?
It is.
In what way? Can you explain to
Well,
me?
the subject is very sensitive. The subject is the birth of a female child, which is not always looked down upon, but which is looked down upon in many communities. And they don't feel too happy about having the birth of a girl child. So that annoys me very much. And you know, in the dark ages, they would even bury the girls because it was awful.
But does that portray part of the reality in Pakistan?
Well, they wouldn't pass out really, but they wouldn't be thrilled in some communities. But with the educated people, the enlightened people, even the birth of a girl child is celebrated. I have so many friends who have been thrilled with having a girl born in the family. But still, there are communities, like I said, who are not very thrilled with it.
Gogi is staffing a lost and found counter. A variety of human virtues have ended up here.
people are not being honest, they're not being disciplined, they're not being punctual, they're not being all these good values that they are supposed to have. And that's why I drew Gogi in that position. Nobody's claiming them, and she's fallen asleep. It's a lost and found. People have to find these virtues.
Well, when did this idea come to you?
These situations exist all around us. We just have to look for the humor in it. So I try to see the funny side of every situation, however harsh it is. The message is strong, funny, serious, and gets you to think about it. Because I believe when you can make someone laugh, when you can amuse someone, the message comes across stronger.
Oh, rather than shouting it or pointing things out to a person.
Instead of sermonizing, if you just amuse, you can grab the attention, and it is more receptive that way.
Nazar became Pakistan's first published female cartoonist in 1970. She had previously studied medicine. When she got started, newspaper cartoons were mostly political satire. Her works quickly grew in popularity. In 2006, she produced an animation for a short TV program calling for environmental awareness and better manners.
Oh, ये क्या कर रहे हो? हम दांत ब्रश कर रहे हैं. तुम ब्रश कर रहे हो और इधर पानी ज़ाया हो रहा है.
But you, as a student, you were studying medicine.
Yeah.
So you wanted to become a doctor?
Well,
perhaps?
my parents and my teachers decided that as I was pretty good in my studies and got pretty good marks, that I should become a doctor. And I said, okay.
So but when did the shift happen then?
The shift happened when I was doodling as a board student in the science class. In my botany and my zoology classes, I'd be drawing on the sides of the margins, the empty margins of the books. And I'd be taking the journals, the botany journals from my whole class of 28, 30 odd students and drawing for them because I enjoyed it so much. And the teacher discovered that all the drawings looked alike. So I was caught. She said, how come all the drawings are looking exactly the same?
And that must be very good pictures.
Well, they were good. I enjoyed doing them. And they were grateful. Everybody was happy. But the teacher said,
There weren't any challenges or difficulties being the only woman, the first woman Muslim cartoonist?
There weren't challenges outside. The challenges were inside. And then I had too many responsibilities. I mean, I would wake up at 4 in the morning to draw a cartoon. Because that was the only time when I could have some peace and quiet.
No phones.
No phones and no kids in the way, no demands and no this. So I'd wake up at 4 and just do my cartoon. And then I used to have the letters from the newspaper, from the readers. I had to look into that and do all my brain work before the kids got up. So I did that for a long time.
I see. But sometimes, like people with conventional ideas, when they see your cartoons presenting an idea in a very subtle way, but unconventional anyway, they might get annoyed.
They might not laugh and say, that's not very funny. But who cares? I have to express myself.
Right.
I've just been probably banned if the cartoon was too much on religion or on politics. But I'm not very political. I'm socio-political. And so I have never been discouraged from it. I mean, editors probably would prefer me to draw politics, but I do social comic strips.
So it's not just every day this and that you are portraying in your cartoons. It's like the inequality or the poverty issue that are kind of embedded in society.
But in the beginning, like when I started off drawing cartoons for the newspapers, I would draw just everyday life cartoons, innocent ones. Very everyday life, mundane issues. And with time, I realized that there were some serious issues that should be addressed. And that's when I started addressing those issues, because if I can get people in that position, or in that authoritative position, and if I can grab their attention, then maybe there would be some change. Change in the mindset is very important. Yep.
Some say that perhaps your cartoons are addressed mainly for the elites, the English-speaking elites, and some claim that because of that, your cartoons might have a very minimum impact in bringing about change in the society. But I felt influencing the people in the decision-making level are also very influential.
Yeah, they can bring about certain change in policy. And also that's why I translated my books, the cartoon compilation, into Urdu. I wanted to see the impact that Urdu had for the Urdu-speaking masses. And then I switched from cartoons to books, comic books, and that had a certain impact. And then from that I switched on to the buses with very strong social messages, and that had an impact. So they were reaching the people.
In 2001, Nazar created a series of cartoons that were displayed on buses. They were part of a campaign calling on the public to improve their manners. She worried that one message, to refrain from staring at women, could invite a backlash. She came up with the idea of citing the Quran. Tell the believing men to lower their gaze and be modest. Indeed, Allah is aware of what they do.
I see. So like changing a life of one person in itself is a big achievement.
Huge.
Maybe it's not a societal change, but a beginning.
She can be an example for the whole village. You know, one book, one pen, one student.
That's what Malala said.
Malala said. In fact, I would say 90% people understand that education is not bad. It's good, and it's there in the Holy Quran. But having said that, we have religious extremists who are using religion, misusing religion, I would say, misusing religion for their own ends, for their own nefarious designs, to discourage people, or to discourage women, or to discourage education for that matter, and probably push us into the dark ages and push us into caves probably.
So in that light of the situation, your way of addressing the situation and trying to bring about the change would be through like comics and cartoons and messages.
And stories. Because it was a story that Tahira was impressed by, not only her, but her parents. They realized, it makes sense. This story makes a lot of sense.
It does. And what about Gogi? Now, she has lived for over 40 years already. In the years to come, what sort of character is she going to evolve into?
She will continue to do nation building by contributing in this delightful medium, because it is entertaining. And I would not keep her local, I would go global. Because all over the world, there are many, many issues which Gogi addresses that can bring about a change. And if those stories are being successful here, they could be successful in other parts of the world as well. So in the end, it's a win-win situation. It's a happy ending. Don't we all like happy endings?
True, that is true. So she will never age.
Oh, isn't she lucky? Not a wrinkle, not a kilo. She's lucky. We will age, but she will not. So that's good for her.
So she will remain to be a jolly Gogi.
A jolly old fellow.
I see. Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you.